Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Well, it seems as though something not go down. It seems as though the J3As have grown a backbone or, gathered their backbone that they already had. Maybe they forgot that they had it and made some changes. Changes that were, people called for on one hand. And of course, changes that, were needed a long time coming. You know what I mean? One particular change was very controversial, and that is clearly on the heels of the debacle that went down at the World Championships last season, with allegations being made against the technical leader Maurice Wilson, and how the team was selected for the 4x1 relays versus the qualification process of said athletes by Taekwondo Tracy. But since then, the J3s have been pretty mum. You know what I mean? And a lot of persons were of the view, including myself, that as long as you're running a professional club, you should not be the technical leader heading to a global championships, because there may be some conflict of interest. Well, guess what? They made a change, and it seems as though heading to the Olympic Games, leading the team this time around will not be Maurice Wilson, but the legendary Donald Quarry, as well as a supporting cast. No, they've made the change. That's one thing. Okay, great, fine and dandy. But on one hand, I'm wondering if this will, change a certain thought process as it relates to, how certain athletes make the team. Will there be any change for that particular issue or reason? Well, it's left to be seen, so we'll have to wait to see if changing the technical leader had any effect on how some athletes made the team, when you could blatantly see better athletes being left off the team, right? Now, with that said, another very interesting change that has been made, and this is one that I've been talking about ad nauseum, to the point where I tell y'all sometimes that if I talk about this really, one more time, I'm liable to get upset about it. You know what I mean? That's pretty much how passionate I am about the relays. Yes, well, they have made some changes to what will be how the team is selected heading to the Olympic Games, and I'm going to get into that with y'all. And of course, I'm going to put it up on the screen for y'all to see. So the J3A's selection criteria for Paris 2024 is as follows. One, athletes must compete in the national championships unless an exemption has been granted by the J3As prior to the start of the national championships. Now, we've seen cases before where the exemption has been used. I believe Usain Bolt used it in the past, as well as Elaine Thompson-Herah. I vividly remember Elaine Thompson-Herah for the 2016 Olympic Games, using the exemption for the 200 meters. Interesting. I didn't think about it no then, but I'm thinking about it now. I wonder if Stephen Francis is going to also use the exemption for Sherika Jackson. But anyway, that being said, so there's an exemption clause that is allowed as long as you're able to prove fitness for the athletes, and as long as they also rank very highly in the event, globally, right? So with that said, that's pretty much standard. That's always been the case, and that remains the same. What is important now is what follows that. Athletes placing in the first three positions in the 100 meters and 400 meters will be named to the relay pool. So, athletes placing in the first three positions. Now, I'm sure y'all remember that, and I talked about this at nauseam, where I said there are different rules, being thrown around. Some people say top four, some people say top three. What was the actual rule? You know what I mean? It's been long thought that it was, top four, and now we're seeing here where they're saying only top three will be named to the relay pool. The remaining members of the relay pool will be selected by the J3's selection committee, as mandated by the by World Athletics. Athletes who are selected to run individual 100 meters slash 400 meters are required members of the of the relay team. I didn't know that. I didn't know this was mandated by World Athletics. It seems as though 1, 2, 3 has to be a part of the relay pool. I need to go back and look at what Team America does, because I don't think they do that. But anyway, If I that them say, all right, moving on, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how they now start to structure the relay teams, because again, as I said, I believe that Jamaica has been consistently boxing themselves in terms of what they do, for relays. It's always been top four. They don't know how to segue from that if they see better performances out there, and we mainly see this especially affect us for the 4x4, not necessarily the 4x1, because the 4x1 pretty much, if you're in top four, you're pretty much the fastest and you're best suited for the relays most times, right? That's never really been an issue, other than how they structure the team for the 4x1s. But the 4x4s, for sure, we've seen on multiple occasions where there are faster people available that do different events. Maybe they run the 400-meter hurdles, you know what I mean? Maybe they run the 800 meters, and they're best suited, but not because it's their individual event, or because it's not their individual event, they don't get chosen for a part, or a leg on the 4x4 team. So I'm glad now that we're seeing here where they're saying, okay, other than the automatic 1, 2, 3, the other members are up for selection, or are selected by the committee. The question now remains, how will they select these athletes? Are they still going to go by favoritism, who knows who, and linkages, and use my whoever's athletes instead of looking at who is better suited? That's what I want to change. So it's left to be seen if these changes will in truth have effect on the relay teams going forward. But again, let us see. I don't want to jump the gun and say, hey, there's going to be no change. I want to see what they do, of course, leading from there. But track is the most important section of this whole relay um change, right? And I'm hoping it's a change, because I've never seen what this actual document looks like in the past. So I'm saying it's a change. Maybe it was already a condition, but is that there is a condition for selection for being a part of the relay team. No, they go on to say it is a condition for selection that the athletes selected for the relay pool should make themselves available when required for relay practice. Athletes who fail to make themselves available may not be allowed to participate in the competition. I have to clap the J3S for this one. No, yes, this is what I've been asking for. I don't care who said them name or them name. If you want to be a part of the relay team and garner another global medal that will add to your accolades, then you need to make yourself available for relay practice. If you do not make yourself available for relay practice, then yes, I do not believe that you should be a part of the team, and I don't care who name or them name. You know what I mean? I believe that this should have been the standard from day one. For whatever reason, that was not the case. But I'm glad that they're, adding this condition to make sure that going forward, Jamaica can, perform to the best of their ability on the global stage when they head to the relays, or, partake in the relays. We've been seeing a lot of blunders recently where, there have been mistakes left, right, and center. And these mistakes clearly point to the fact that there is no practice. The performances have been degenerating over time. And clearly, this, all came to a foot where things just broke down 100% at the World Relays recently, where it just became blatantly obvious that something needs to happen. Something needs to change. And the JTAs needs to make this something standardized where these athletes partake at the relay practices if they want to be a part of the relay team. And if not, go run your individual event, and leave it be to the athletes that actually want to be there and that actually practice. No, it was interesting where points out, the United States of America having their own other things set up, right? And we saw coming out of that a team with Noah Lyles, where I think they all train in Florida, I believe. They're very close, and that particular team was able to come out with no man having yet to dip below 10 seconds, run at 37.4 over the relays. And I said that anyhow these athletes start running 9.8, the world record is going to be shattered, just based on the fact that they've been able to successfully, get that camaraderie that, is very much needed when you're running the relays. When you look at a team Japan, a team China, they run these relays constantly, and clearly they've developed, a kind of machine flow with making sure that the baton does not slow down. And the American team seems to be onto something with that as well, but for both the men and the women. Now Jamaica is clearly falling behind. We've been resting on our laurels, resting on our speed and thinking that would be enough to get us the win. It clearly isn't enough anymore. It hasn't been enough for years, but because we've still been winning, people just looked past it. But now we're seeing we're okay. It's finally time to get that change in, get the practice required for the athletes, so that the athletes, again, as I said, can run to the best of their ability and win gold when they're supposed to win gold if they're the best in the field, right? And not necessarily be well behind teams that don't even stack up to them on paper. Now, with that said, guys, let me know your thoughts now in the comment section below. What do you think about these changes? Will anything change? Will the clubs heed to the condition for selection for the relays? And what do you think about the new technical leader? I think they call him the chief, the Mission, right? Heading to the Paris Olympic Games. That is the legendary Donald Corey. What do you think about this particular change? Of course, like the video, guys, and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.